Hi everyone and welcome to episode 6 of Vocabulary. Today we're looking at homophones, part 1. So we're going to look at 5 homophones today only. Now, homophones are words that sound the same when you say them, so they're pronounced in the same way, but they are spelt differently and they each have a different meaning. So you might ask me, how would I know which one a person has used? Well, you're going to look at the context of the sentence because they're all very different in the meaning. Let's look at the first set of homophones. The word bear. Now, bear with A-R-E is only an adjective. It means someone is unclothed or uncovered, or it can mean, as another adjective, of course, that something is basic or simple, so you need to combine it with a noun in some way. So pause the video and look at my examples and see how I've used this adjective. Now let's compare it to the other bear. Bear, E-A-R. Now this is obviously the animal that we all know, the big bad bear. But as a verb, it can mean to physically support something or someone, to bear someone's weight, to physically hold them up. But as a verb, it can also mean to endure or survive something or someone's presence even. So pause the video and compare the examples from here to the examples for the previous bear. And let's move on to the next set of homophones. Break. Now break with E-A-K means to physically destroy something or interrupt some kind of process. It can also mean to take a pause, a small break at school, for example. So pause the video and have a look at how I've used these words in a sentence, because the first one is a verb and the second one is a noun. And let's compare it now to the other break. So A-K-E, break with A-K-E at the end. Now here, as a noun, it's a device that we use to stop a moving vehicle, like a car. So you can have a look at that example and see how I've used it with a car. But as a verb, it's the actual action of stopping the car from moving, stopping the vehicle from moving. So pause the video and have a look at these examples that I've put, so you can see how we use it as a noun and as a verb, and compare it to the other break before. Let's move on to the next set of homophones. Principal. Now, principal with an A refers only to a noun as a person who is the highest ranking person in a group. So the school principal, for example. So you'll see how I've used that in this example. But as an adjective, it means the most important. The principal idea, the principal aim. So pause the video and see how I've used it as a noun and as an adjective. And let's compare it to the other principal, which doesn't have AL like this one. Principal with LE. Now this is only used as a noun, and it's used to refer to our personal beliefs, general truths, laws that we follow in society, so things that we believe in, things that we have to follow. Now pause the video and see how I've used it in these very common sentences, and compare it to the other principle with AL on the previous slide. Let's move on to the next set of homophones. Stationery, a very popular word. Now, stationery with an A is used as an adjective when we want to say that something is not moving and it's staying still. It could be a person who stands stationary, or an object like a car, for example. But it can also mean as an adjective that something does not change. So it's unchanging, a stationary situation, for example, a stationary process. So have a look at these examples, pause the video, and let's have a look at the other stationery, which is more commonly used. Now, stationery with an E refers to all types of writing equipment. And of course, it's only a noun in this case. So writing equipment could be pencils, pens, colors even, a rubber, a sharpener, a ruler, anything we use for daily writing activities at school, perhaps. So pause the video, have a look at these examples, and compare this slide to the previous slide with stationery with an E, and you'll very clearly see the different uses of them. And now let's move to our last set of homophones, the word whole. Now, whole with a W talks about quantity, how much or how many, and it means the full or complete amount of something. So pause the video and have a look at how I've used whole with a W in these sentences. And let's compare it to whole without a W. Now, whole without a W is a noun, of course, as you can see, but the hole without a W is a hole that we dig into the ground or into any kind of surface. So the round hole that we have in any kind of surface, that's hole with an H, not with a W. But it can be also quite a metaphorical word. Like metaphorically, we have an empty space or an empty void in our life. But it's only used metaphorically in this way. It's not like a literal hole like the previous one would be. So pause the video, read the examples carefully, have a look how I've used these words, and compare whole without a W to the previous slide with whole with a W. I hope you've enjoyed your first set of homophones, and stay tuned for the second one very soon. Good luck.